what will we do? What will the alliance do when we come to power? Number one, we will reclaim the democratic tradition in India. And we will go back to institutions that are neutral. We will go back to institutions that do not belong to a particular party or a particular ideology, but we'll go back to institutions that belong to the people of India.
How do you do that?
We do that by making sure that they are not pressurized, that people who run these institutions are not threatened, that they're not attacked, and that they're allowed to do their job. Right? The institutions belong to the people of India, and institutions are there to be neutral. They don't belong to a political party. So the moment we stop trying to shape the behavior of the institutions like the RSS and BJP do, they'll go back to work. Right? So that's one piece of it. The second part, which is a challenge in some ways for Europe and the United States, as well as India, is the fact that if we look at the planet today, we look at this microphone, we look at my phone, we look at this computer, we see that they are mostly made in China. And clearly, without any doubt, the Chinese have proven to the entire planet that they can produce successfully, they can manufacture better than anybody else, but they do so in a coercive, non-democratic environment.
Yes.
This they have proven to everybody. They have essentially dismantled the production networks of the United States, the production networks of Europe, and also, to a great extent, the production networks of India, by successfully doing this. For us to not manufacture, to not produce a country of 1.4 billion people is not an option. We will have such massive levels of unemployment and anger that as a nation we will not be sustainable. So China has placed a vision on the table. It is called the Belt and Road. The heart of that vision is production, dominance of global production. We are asking the question, can we place an alternative vision on the table?
Right.
A vision where India, the United States, Europe work together to produce, not in a coercive environment, not in an environment where you do not give political freedom to your people, but in an environment where you give political freedom, economic freedom, social freedom to your people. So this, to me, is the central challenge facing not just India, Europe, the United States. I think it will impact all the students in this room. If we are unsuccessful, I think the students in this room will find that their future will not be as bright as it should be. So that would be the centerpiece of the type of work that we would want to do. Now that has a number of components.
Yeah.
It requires infrastructure. It requires a different type of education system. It requires protection for our people. So that would be the central piece, and then you would have structures that would support that. The final thing that I personally think is very important is that there are very, very large groups, large parts of India that are not included in the growth and the success of India. When you look at India from outside as a Western person, you see tremendous success, tremendous growth. But when you look at it from inside India, you see that people from lower caste communities, people from tribal communities, people from minority communities, people from Dalit communities are not part of that. They're simply excluded from that growth. And that is something that India will never, ever be successful without solving. So much greater inclusion. Inclusion not only in terms of economic growth, in terms of wealth, but in terms of social respect, in terms of protection. So that would be overall how we would think about it. What would we keep that the BJP has done? What would we not differ with them on? Probably some of the work that they've done in infrastructure. I think that would be the mainstay of it. We do not agree with what they've done to the education system. They have tried to erase history, so I cannot say that we agree with them on that. Some of the work they've done in healthcare, probably we would agree with. The broad direction of our economy, the broad direction of our relationship with the United States, relationship with Europe, probably agree with, similar.
Yeah. Including war in Ukraine stance.
We would agree with their stance on the war in Ukraine, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You don't want to come over to our side on...
It's not, see, the thing is, it's not come over to your side or come over to their side. We are completely against the violence and the pain that is being felt by the Ukrainian people and by the Russians who are dying in Ukraine. And we think it should stop as fast as possible. Okay? And we understand that in the 21st century, having a war in the middle of Europe is not a good idea, is dangerous for Europe, is dangerous for us, is dangerous for everybody. But as a large country, we have relationships with multiple people. We cannot ignore the fact that we have a relationship with the United States, we have a relationship with Europe, we have a relationship with Russia, we have a relationship with Iran. These are things that large countries, by their very nature, have to have. Right? And you can shape them, but you are also limited by them.